So now let's get to the main event. I chuckled when I saw this. All of us use laptops and smartphones now. Everybody uses a laptop and or a smartphone. And the question has arisen lately, is there room for a third category of device in the middle? But we think we've got something that is. And we'd like to show it to you today for the first time. And we call it the iPad. So, let me show it to you now. This is what it looks like. I happen to have one right here. That's what it looks like. Very thin. It's just like this. So, just give you a little overview. It's very thin. The iPad is really thin. It's a ½ an inch thin. And it weighs just 1.5 pounds. That is thinner and lighter than any netbook. And it's got a gorgeous 9.7-inch IPS display. Super high quality display using IPS technology so you get great angle of view as well. Very high quality display. And as you know, Apple builds the best capacitive multi-touch sensors in the world. Married to our great display, it's terrific. Super responsive, super precise. iPad is powered by our own custom silicon. We have an incredible group that does custom silicon at Apple. We have a chip called A4, which is our most advanced chip we've ever done, that powers the iPad. It's got the processor, the graphics, the I/O, the memory controller, everything in this one chip, and it screams. And you can have 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes of flash solid-state storage inside the iPad. It's got the latest in wireless networking, Wi-Fi 802.11n, and the latest Bluetooth 2.1. And the usual suspects: accelerometer, compass, speaker, microphone. It's got a 30-pin connector, so it plugs into the whole ecosystem of iPod accessories. We've been able to achieve 10 hours of battery life. It has over a month of standby life. So we could just set the iPad down, it would go to sleep automatically. We'd come back in a month, it would still have charge. It's remarkable.
We downloaded a number of apps from the App Store, all unmodified. And let me launch just a couple for you. We'll start with Facebook. Here it is. This is the Facebook that you know and love. It just works. I can tap on a photo. I can flick to a new photo. And now, if you look in the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a button that says 2x. When I tap on it, we automatically scale the application up to full screen. When I go back to my news feed, I can switch, say, to my profile, see my wall. It all just works. We rewrote the user interface of every one of our apps to take full advantage of this large touchscreen display that comes with the iPad, like Photos and Music, Calendar, and YouTube. They all look great. And we expect developers are going to want to do the same thing. So to that end, we've enhanced the iPhone SDK to now support development for the iPad as well. And we're releasing this SDK today.
But we're also going to have models of iPad with 3G, cellular wireless data built in, as well as Wi-Fi. So $499 for a 16 gigabyte iPad. That's our base model, 16 gigabytes with Wi-Fi built in. For 32 gigabytes, it's $100 more. And for another $100 beyond that, you get 64 gigabytes of storage. The 3G models cost an extra $130 to build in the radios. And so $629, $729, and $829. What is iPad 2? What have we learned? What can we improve? Well, it is an all-new design. It is not a tweaked design. It's not got marginal improvements. It's a completely new design. And the first thing is, it's dramatically faster. We have a new chip we call A5. Our chip wizards have come up with this, and it's great. It's dual-core processors, right? 2 processors inside. And so we get up to twice as fast on CPU performance, but we've really gone all out on the graphics performance. Up to 9 times faster graphics. The graphics on this thing are wonderful. Same low power as A4. We don't want to give up any of that legendary battery life. And even though others are starting to ship, I think this is going to be the first dual-core tablet to ship in volume. So A5 is really quite an achievement and is going to give us something that's up to twice as fast on CPU performance, up to 9 times faster on graphics, and the first iPad was no slouch. So a lot faster with A5. Second, we've built in some cameras for video. We've got a rear camera out the back, and we've got a front-facing camera out the front. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. We've also built in the gyroscope that we have in the iPhone and the iPod Touch. It is dramatically thinner. Not a little bit thinner, a third thinner. 33% thinner. That's what it looks like. Gone from 13.4 millimeters down to 8.8 millimeters thick. It's dramatic. In addition to thicker, it's lighter as well. Going from 1.5 pounds down to 1.3. And you might not think that's a lot, but when you get down to 1.5 pounds, 1/10 of a pound is a lot. And it feels quite a bit lighter. And it's got an all-new design. It's just beautiful. So this is what it looks like. It's really thin. And it comes in 2 colors, black and white. We have the same legendary 10-hour battery life as the original iPad, with all of this extra stuff in it, and yet dramatically thinner. We've also preserved the price. And so we're going to keep the same exact prices, starting at just $499, same exact prices as the current iPad, yet with all of these new features, a dramatically improved product.
Today, we're announcing the new iPad, and it is amazing. We've taken it to a whole new level, and we are redefining the category that Apple created with the original iPad.
First, new feature of the new iPad, the Retina display. iPad display is 2048 by 1,536 pixels. And if you do the math really quick, you'll figure out that's over 3.1 million pixels on this display, the most ever in a mobile device. The new iPad display also has greater color saturation, 44% greater than the iPad 2. So side by side, you're going to see images just pop out. They are so much more colorful and richer in their detail. Now there's 4 times the number of pixels on the new iPad display. So it takes a lot of graphic horsepower to drive that display if you want to keep it smooth and fast and beautiful to use. Well, you know, the iPad 2 used the A5 chip Apple-designed chip, which is the best chip in a mobile device to drive a great display. But we needed even more horsepower for this new iPad and its Retina display. So we've created the Apple A5X chip. And what's the X for? Quad-core graphics. Quad-core graphics designed specifically for the Retina display to drive 4 times the number of pixels. Well, how does that compare to what others are using? Well, others are using chips like this NVIDIA Tegra 3. If you normalize its graphics performance at 1, the Apple A5 was already twice as fast. And the new A5X brings 4 times the performance. It is a graphics powerhouse. The second feature, an iSight camera. And when that camera gets of such quality and capability that you're proud to use it as your everyday camera for photographs, we call it an iSight camera. And the new iPad has a great iSight camera. It's a 5-megapixel backside illuminated sensor. We brought the optic system from the iPhone 4S, 5-element lens, hybrid infrared filter on it, and we have an ISP built into our A5X chip to do some great software algorithms and capabilities on this for photographs. Number 3, HD video recording, now a 1080p resolution. Full HD resolution, so wherever you are, you want to grab a video for work or play or school, you've got a great camera built in to do that with. Fourth feature, voice dictation. Of course, the iPad, like all great iOS devices, has a software keyboard from Apple that's built into all the software you use automatically. And now you'll see there's a new key on the bottom, a microphone. So you can type, or you can just tap it, speak into your iPad, and it will dictate what you have to say. The fifth feature, next generation wireless. Now, you know the iPad 2 has already had great wireless performance, and it supports networks like EVDO with a maximum theoretical downlink of 3.1 megabits per second. And it has supported HSPA, for example, on GSM networks, with a maximum downlink of 7.2 megabits per second. But now with the new iPad, we're adding a great deal more. We're adding HSPA Plus, with a maximum downlink of 21 megabits. And if you haven't heard about this, it's great. Dual carrier HSDPA, which we're starting to see show up in Europe, Australia, and other places around the world, with a maximum downlink of 42 megabits per second. And of course, topping it off, long-term evolution, or LTE, which is a maximum of 73 megabits per second downlink. Below that, they're completely compatible. They're 3G world ready. So whichever one you pick, you can roam anywhere around the world on the fastest HSPA or EVDO networks, and you have what you need. In addition, we've added software to make it a personal hotspot. So if your carrier supports a personal hotspot feature, you can share that high-speed network from your new iPad directly with up to 5 devices. Well, the new iPad delivers the same 10 hours of battery life for all the things you do. And when you're on 4G, 9 hours. So the team has worked incredibly hard to deliver this kind of battery performance so you can use it all day long. Yet, it remains amazingly thin at just 9.4 millimeters, and amazingly light at just 1.4 pounds. So the new iPad comes in black and white. And you're probably at this point thinking, I want one, what's it going to cost? I am. So the new iPad, you remember the iPad 2 starts at $499 for 16 gigabytes. Well, I'm really excited to tell you the new iPad will be priced at just $499. It comes in 3 storage capacities, 16, 32, and 64 gigabytes at $499, $599, and $699 for Wi-Fi models. And for Wi-Fi plus 4G, $629, $729, and $829, the same prices as the iPad 2 before it. So that's why it's more incredible that we're sitting here today, just over half a year later, to talk about the 4th generation iPad. It's amazing. So what's inside it? A new chip, the Apple A6X chip, delivering even faster performance. We were already so far ahead of the competition, this just, I can't even see them in the rearview mirror. It doubles the performance for CPU tasks. That is a huge jump ahead. It also doubles the graphics performance. They were not close to us, and now we've doubled that again. In addition, we've added a new generation of Apple image signal processor for tasks like face recognition and image stabilization. So all of this power, 2 times CPU power, 2 times graphics power, new image processing, and it's energy efficient. The same 10 hours of battery life of the previous generation. We're also updating the FaceTime front side camera to now FaceTime HD with 720p. And the cellular version has LTE with greatly expanded coverage. We're working with many carriers around the world to support LTE performance on this new 4th generation iPad. Many of the carriers you know, and some new ones to support iPad, like Sprint here in the US and KDDI in Japan. We've also updated the Wi-Fi performance as well. It's up to twice as fast. It's 802.11a, b, g, n, and n is 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. We've updated the connector to our latest connector, the Lightning connector. It's 80% smaller, all digital, reversible, and compatible with devices now being created for iPhone 5, iPod Touch, iPod Nano. Generation iPad comes in both black and white. And it starts with the same configuration as the last generation, 16 gigabytes, Wi-Fi for $499. So twice the performance, new features at the same price. And cellular as well, the same price, starting at $629. So if the 3rd generation iPad was the best tablet in the world, the 4th generation just extends that lead. And it's all about helping customers to learn about this great new technology and find new ways to use it that they never dreamed of. So what else can we do to help customers find even more uses for iPad, to use it in places they never imagined, in manners they never have before? I think we can tell by your excitement you know what this is. This is iPad mini. What can you do with an iPad mini that you can't already do with the amazing 4th generation iPad? Well, this. You can hold it in one hand. Now, this just isn't a shrunken down iPad. It's an entirely new design with a beautiful aluminum glass enclosure where every detail is finely crafted and made, just exquisite. And the process by which they're manufactured are at a level of tolerances unseen in our industry. There is nothing as amazing as this. So this iPad mini is just 7.2 millimeters thin. That's about a quarter thinner than the 4th generation iPad. To put it in context, it's as thin as a pencil. That's thin. It weighs just 0.68 pounds. That's over 50% lighter than the previous iPad, 4th generation. So in context, what could you compare that to? It's as light as a pad of paper. We were going to say a book, but books are much heavier. So we came out with a pad of paper. It comes in black and white, the white with silver, the black with a slate back. It's beautiful on both sides. The iPad 2 is 9.7 inches on the diagonal. iPad mini, 7.9. So that's easy to remember, right? 9.7, 7.9. And the pixels are even easier to remember because they're exactly the same. The original iPad, the iPad 2 are 1024 by 768. And the new iPad mini is 1024 by 768. That means all of the software created for iPad all works on the iPad mini, unchanged. There's an amazing set of technology that make this just a great iPad. First, there's an Apple A5 chip, a dual-core A5 chip that has more than enough power to drive this incredible mini display and give you great performance for all your applications and games. It has a FaceTime camera now better than what we had in iPad 2, a FaceTime HD front-side camera. An even bigger difference on the camera on the back side, a 5-megapixel iSight camera. So you can take beautiful 5-megapixel photos or 1080p HD video. That's far in advance of what we had on iPad 2. The wireless has advanced greatly too. It has the same LTE capabilities that you see in our new 4th generation iPad, LTE wireless. We have the faster Wi-Fi as well, 802.11 A, B, G, N, and N at 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, so twice as fast Wi-Fi. We've built in that Lightning connector, so it's compatible with the accessories being created for iPhone 5, the 4th generation iPad, iPod Touch, and iPod Nano. And all of this technology, all this incredible capability in such a thin and light device, the team has worked really hard to get you the same battery life, 10 hours of battery life, just like the 4th generation iPad. So hopefully, as you've been hearing about all these features and performance and capability, you see, it is every inch an iPad. The iPad mini starts with a full 16 gigabytes of memory, and the Wi-Fi configuration will be priced at $329. Now, of course, that is the lowest price yet for an iPad, helping us to reach even more customers. So this is the iPad lineup. iPad mini starts at $329, iPad 2 at $399, iPad 4th generation with the Retina display at $499. Of course, there are many configurations of memory you can choose from, so there those all are, the Wi-Fi configurations, and then of course cellular configurations. So there's something in a wide range of price for everyone in each, the most amazing, best iPad or tablet device that anyone has offered.